It's still complicated to put a finger on it, but
It is. Well, at this point, I stopped caring about who's to blame, and I started caring more about what am I doing to fix it.
Yes.
Because I can blame everybody all I want, but at the end of the day, like, I want to fix it, so go out and fix it. At least for me, my grandma, she's old German woman, amazing woman that raised me, and she was a big proponent of like no BS. Like if you want it, stop complaining, go do it. And so I kind of took that into business and was like, well, if no one's doing it, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just have this entourage effect of people standing around saying, oh, the next person will do it. Next person will do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're up.
Yeah.
Are you doing it?
Yeah. We've inherited this world. It's our responsibility now.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm your host, Jessica Caresse, and this space is a place where we talk about seemingly random topics, but they're all connected together. And we have a very special episode today. This is probably one of the largest podcasts I've had. We have the leadership team of an AI platform called Indrasy. And so we have the CEO, Kyle, we have Rose, the CTO, and we have Athena, the CRO. And we're going to be diving into what their platform does, the journey of what it took to even start it and get it off the ground to where it is today. And then we're going to talk more about just, their lives, how they met, and all the good, juicy stuff. So welcome, guys.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
We're very excited, yes.
Yeah.
So, Indrasy. Tell me about it. What should the world know?
I would say, so I've been a coder since I was a kid. I grew up in an engineering family. My uncle worked for the German stock market. So when I was a kid, I learned how to code very, very young. I had a computer, was playing around with technology for a while. And as I got older into high school, I found out that a lot of small businesses struggle with technology. My mom opened up her own accounting firm. My dad had his own mechanic shop. And so growing up, I saw them struggle a lot with technology. And so I built a lot of solutions for them. And as I got older, I was like, hey, this is actually kind of a cool job. I get to problem solve different types of things every day, and let me try consulting. So I went in probably in freshman year of college, I'd say. I started consulting for different small businesses around here, and it just kind of grew from there. So yeah, that's I'd say is how Indrasy got started.
Interesting. Oh, that's really cool. And so on your journey, when did you meet Rose, and when did you meet Athena, and how did you guys all meet? And then how did things change when you brought them in?
So myself, because it was just me for a couple years, but I originally wanted to do consulting because I really loved the person-to-person, like being able to talk to someone, coach them through what they needed for their business, and then help them implement it. I got to see the full cycle, and that to me felt very, very nice. But then about 2 years ago, two or so, I met Rose at a tech event. It was a Rooftop event in Brickell. I was networking for some consulting clients, and then I met Rose, and we started talking about algorithms, specifically insurance algorithms, and how they, for the most part, try to grade people for whether or not their policy is worthwhile. And that was a very, very interesting conversation, and I got to explore her mind a little bit and how smart she was. And as I was telling her about what I did, she was like, hey, you've built all these automations over the past 10 years or so. Why haven't you put this into a software platform? And her background being from Microsoft Research, working with AI, to me that was kind of new. I didn't really work in the software space too much. I built a lot of solutions, but never like a full stack app. So when she came in, she was like, hey, look at what we can do with it once we turn it into an application. And it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind, the capabilities that came from it. Rose came in. She kind of changed my whole worldview of technology, and the rest is kind of history. Athena and Rose have been friends for a long time. So when Rose and I were talking about building this initial team, she was like, "I have someone. Don't worry about it. I have someone." And that person was Athena. And in the beginning, Athena was very raw in terms of talent. Super, super smart, worked with her mom in her nonprofit since she was a kid. So she had a lot of interesting experience talking to politicians, lobbying, going to DC and knowing how to formally present ideas and policies and things like that at a young age. That's massive. So I, over the past, couple years, a year or so, helped her try to refine that into a CRO role. And a lot of it translated perfectly. I mean, she's killing it now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting because you basically have those magic ingredients that a lot of people struggle through figuring out that they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that what they need. And so you've had the consulting experience. So like the typical struggles people go through different various phases. You have the big corporate background, so like the art of the possible of what people are doing out, these big businesses, what they're doing with their millions and billions of dollars. And then you have like the communication, pitching, and storytelling front that marries what, the ideas they're putting together and translating it into a way for people to actually want to support and invest into what you're doing. And so those are really, really, really important skill sets that a lot of people don't have, and they don't even realize how important it is for those type of skill sets for you to go from point A in your business to the next level, point B in your business.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think so. This is not the first company that I've built. Another company that I used to work for called Carmen's Medicinals. They're in the pharmaceutical space. I worked for them for a couple of years, and that was kind of my start in small business and what it was like to work at a startup. When I first joined, there was 2 people, the owner and the COO at the time. And I got kind of like a clean slate to play around with the business. I mean, they had a good operation going in South America. They wanted to transition it here. They didn't know the US market at the time. And so I knew Juan, and he brought me in and was like, "Hey, we have a ton of problems. Help me solve them." And that kind of clean slate opened my eyes a lot. So I tried my best when I started this business to bring people on like them and give them that clean slate, because I knew how important it was for my development, and they took it and ran with it. They really have. I'm really, really proud of how far we've come so far. It's been a long time in the making. It's been a couple years. Yeah.
For a little bit of context, we actually started full-time in October of last year. And in the past, 4-6 months? 4-6 months, we're launching an event. We are launching our application. We have a huge board of advisors. We're making strong contracts with the rest of the community all around. So it's been wild. It's been wild.
With the local universities as well. So we're actually hopefully going to be playing a big part in the development of the community and how people are taught how to use AI in universities. I mean, that's going to be huge for us as a company and also for the community.
Yeah. So tell me some of the use cases that your platform solves.
So our platform is a workspace in a sense. So I'm sure many people have used like Google Workspace, and it has a bunch of tools for them. It's similar in the sense that it has a ton of tools for your business, but it collapses everything down in a very simple and easy way. You can do anything that your business needs to do in one platform rather than 20. And that's a key part of why we're building what we're building. I was last 2 years at Caresse. They had a similar problem. They worked mainly with the industry of MSPs, so managed service providers. They're usually IT, security people. They also have a ton of tool sprawl. So they, over the past couple of years, went and acquired 40, 50 different products and turned that into a platform to provide to these people. So I kind of took a similar approach in the sense of that's a really nice strategy to kind of condense down a lot of the tools and make it simple for people to actually go and run their business. Because if you're a business owner nowadays, you know how hectic it is to run a business.
Yes, exactly. It's also like, okay, let's run through these use cases. For me, right, I had to do research on leads, right? So like that's a combination between Google, some of the LLMs, and yep.
Probably one of the biggest issues for small businesses. In the app, we have two main ways to prospect. You have what's called broadcasting, and you have marketplace. Marketplace is similar to a Google Maps, where you have a giant list of every business that's local to you. These are prospects for your business. And then you have broadcast, which is what's the best way to describe broadcast? Because I don't think there's a lot of tools out there that do that. But broadcast is essentially a way for you to go and post across any social platform with the click of a single button. You can do scheduling. You can post Reddit threads, TikTok videos, Instagram reels, pretty much any medium that you want across any platform. Broadcast allows you to go out and essentially sprawl across all the social medias within a single place.
It's your connection with the world.
Yeah, it's your connection to the world. That's a great way to put it.
And then it streamlines all the comments and messages.
So that's the amazing part about the key 3 tools that you as a user have. You have access to one tool called the agenda, another tool called relationships, and another one called comms. Comms has every type of communication channel, email, text message, DMs, all of that in a single area. So I'm sure you've used Outlook before. Your inbox looks exactly the same. The only difference is you have every channel instead of one. And you see a lot of these tools nowadays, they purposely don't collapse down like that. They make it complicated on purpose. It benefits them.
We did some math.
No, it really benefits them to make it complicated so that you go and hire a consultant of theirs to help you implement.
Yes.
We're eliminating that completely. So you can actually onboard in the platform using the AI agent to walk you through rather than having a consultant. So there's a lot of opportunity for small businesses in the platform to get started like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And then what about like your AI usage? You know, like for example, I do a lot of work with ClickUp and helping people implement ClickUp and all that stuff. Everyone's interested in like their super agents. And so they have like, you know, AI credits and all these things are not quite clear. Like
it's complicated. It's complicated pricing.
Yes.
Ours is quite, I don't want to say super simple, but if you've ever used your Starbucks app before, you have a bank account essentially in your Starbucks app. You load up your money and then you go to a Starbucks and you pay. It's the same thing. In the application, you load up $100. We might gift you another $100 because you loaded up. And now you have $200 to spend in the platform. As you perform tasks, the agents will say, hey, this is a large task. It's going to cost this much money to perform. Do you want me to do it or do you want me to walk you through how to do it? And then the user can choose, hey, run this task. It'll cost X amount of money versus them going out and doing the work themselves and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty flexible. I would say we try not to force the billing down the user's throat. It's more like, hey, at the end of the month, you're going to get, you know, a review of all the agents that have performed work, what tasks were assigned to each agent, and how much each agent should be paid. Much like when you're doing an employee kind of W-2, for example.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That's cool. And so with your event in June, right?
Yep, June 6th.
June 6th. So what can people expect at that event? Like, is your key signature event? Is this the first time you're doing it, or is it multiple times you've done it before?
It's the first time we're doing it. This is going to be a major part of the building of the application and the ecosystem as a whole. So what Kyle just talked about and what you asked us about is one of our products. So Indrasy really is a holder of a few different products. One of them is Indra OS, which is the operating system that he's talking about, where it just handles all your tools. It's your workspace. Another one is the event that we're having. So obviously we know that digital worlds, digital native spaces have taken over for the past 20 years or so the way that we communicate. However, we still see that people are unsatisfied. So much so, even more so today, we're seeing that people are paying a premium for offline experiences. And a lot of the times they don't really get much out of it. Like if you've ever gone to any of those like empowering series or like, like emotional series, they talk as if they're talking to you about business, but in reality, they're just talking to you about your self-esteem. We don't really see that that's going to take you very much in terms of business and entrepreneurship. So what we're doing is we're, again, consolidating a lot of that knowledge that is needed to start and grow your business from zero to hero. And we're doing that here within the community. We know that our first place where the app is going to be running is in Miami, is in Florida overall, and we need to have like a strong contact with them from day zero. Absolutely. So that's a really important reason as to why we are having that event be also the launch of our application, so that everyone in that room has first come, first say on how to use that, can guide us through any additional implementations, and ultimately we design things that are features and not just buggy things that they will never use.
Okay. All right. So it's like you're essentially incorporating what Jeff Bezos always says, like, your customer is always right, and listen to the customer. So being like really, really closely in tune with them so that you can really understand the problems that they're encountering. And then you're able to come up with solutions that actually really solve that problem and make their lives easier versus causing more frustration.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to add also that they're small businesses. They're not large enterprises where they have a set budget for these kinds of events. You know what I mean? Like small businesses, they have a very curated set of activities that they do to succeed. And usually that scope is very, very small. So if they're going to events, usually they only go to events. Or if they're doing marketing, they're only doing marketing. And so small businesses, they want to talk to people face to face before they invest in anything. And I think from a business standpoint, I don't think we're ever going to penetrate the small business market if we're not going out, talking to them, shaking their hands, saying, hey, we exist, we're a real person, especially as an AI company. I mean, there's so much out there right now that
There's
AI
a lot of fear
is
behind it.
Yeah, there is absolutely.
Snake oil too. They need to be able to see us in the eye and understand that we actually care about their end state.
And that's what this whole event is about. It's about really curating an environment that's made for small business. We're not doing this to make money. We're not doing this to sell our product. This event is made so that anybody who wants to run a business or is currently running a business can come here and get resources they need to succeed at running their business. And you don't really see a lot of that nowadays. It's more focused on, hey, we're launching this cool product, come check us out. And yes, we are launching our product at this event, but we really believe that our product will help them. We're going to be giving out a lot of free demos and credits in the platform at the event. So we think of it as more of an opportunity for giving than getting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I know there's a lot that will be going on at the event. So like if you could give maybe the four pillars of activities that will be going on.
I would say the biggest one is our workshops. So we're going to have a lot of amazing workshops where people come and learn about implementing AWS solutions, come and learn about implementing payment solutions. The goal is to build workshops for every what we call critical infrastructure of small business. So think payment solutions, banking solutions, a lot of financial things because businesses need money. And then on the operations side, there's going to be agencies that do consulting there. There's going to be a lot of... Hi. He's so cute.
Our guest podcaster, Dingo.
He's like, look at me. But yeah, I would say the workshops are definitely a big additive.
And the pods.
Yes, the pods are going to be awesome. So we have a section... so it's a beautiful venue. It's at the Boca Raton Innovation Campus. really awesome history.
Yes.
So the history of this place is quite cool. It was the home to the first personal computer invented by IBM. This entire facility used to be an IBM manufacturing facility, and then they recently converted it into what they call the Boca Raton Innovation Campus. So it's a massive, I think it's like 120,000 square feet camp. Yeah, it's huge. Tons of offices. I think Baptist Health has an office there. Canon has an office there. Like, there's a ton of amazing companies. And so we are renting out a couple of their rooms for this event. The main area will be a huge expo hall that will house, I think they said like max 800 or 900 people in this room.
Wow.
There's going to be over 50 exhibitors there, and a main stage. So the main stage is, of course, where we're going to have a lot of keynotes. But then we have a second room, which we're calling our workshop and pods room. This is where people will go and listen to 20, 30-minute workshops on various different topics. But then we have the pods. The pods are basically 6 booths divided up into what we internally use as our department. So we have 6 departments internally. And you can go to each one of these booths and talk to a professional in that area. So one of the booths will be marketing or sales. Another booth will be about product and supply chain. Another booth will be about financing and accounting. And so as an attendee, if you have any of these issues, you go to that specific pod and you get a free consultation.
That's cool. Are you going to have like an HR pod?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. We're going to have a lot of, I think, different areas for people to check.
Yeah. No, I asked about HR because like, so my husband, has a music school. And so there's these growing pains that you go through as far as people management, And so there were times where he's like, I have this situation with this person. I don't know what to do, because you are a small business and it's like, you do develop a personal relationship with people. And then it's like, ooh, this is a weird situation now. Like, what do I do?
Only be HR for those kinds of questions.
It's like the concept of the event. Like, how did you guys come up with it?
It goes back to why we're even putting together this product. You know, back to just giving to the community.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with small businesses. And we all have had parents who, had their own businesses and they are small businesses. So we've seen the struggle. And now with everything going on, with AI and just where tech is going, you could easily be left behind.
Community is the only thing that will help you survive here.
And sorry.
And I mean, if you even look at it, businesses, if you make it to 5 years, you're lucky. 15, even luckier. Like you really see them die out so quick. And it really just depends on who you have, helping you out, the resources that are available to you, and honestly, what you know.
And who you know. And who you know. Yeah. Which is a big part of why the community aspect is really important. On a personal note, we're all first-generation Americans. So all of our parents are from out of states, meaning that we were the primary translator. We were the primary community organizer. We were the primary translator for anything from financing to hospitals to school to anything. So we learned very quickly that you need to know at least who to ask the question to, because I'm a child. I have no idea how any of this works. So in that's a big part of the community aspect, where if you come to this, like I remember when I came at 17, I did not know anyone. I did not know how anything worked. And the only reason that it like things kept moving was because I found little communities here along the way that were actually trying to help me, because a few other communities are more like stuck, and they aren't really about giving you as much as they are about taking. So a big aspect, at least comparing our state, our Miami, or even South Florida to other major conglomerate or other major entrepreneurial spaces like Austin, New York, San Francisco, is that they have strong community and we don't. That means that if you need something, you can find someone very easily.
Yeah. That you raise a good point, because I remember when I was in New York for undergraduate, and then even I visited a lot while I was living down here, and then I went back for a year. Like, it was way easier to build up like a social network up there versus down here, And it's interesting because there's a lot of fraud that happens in New York, but like Miami down here, it was like it became on the map because of fraud, you know? And so like when you're an entrepreneur and just trying to figure out like where do I go,
It's scary out there.
It is a deep abyss down here.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you know, it's a deep abyss. So I would say like for me, like I went heads down with launching my consulting firm in 2024. And so I went on a networking blitz, you know, and you know, it was a journey.
Yeah.
You know,
Networking is tough down here. It really is.
It's a lot of dead ends.
Yeah.
It's so many dead ends.
Personally, I think it's because South Florida communities are so disparate and like spread out across the coast. So you have like the community in Brickell, and then you have like the Wynwood community, which is slightly above Brickell, and then you have like the Sweetwater community, and you just go all along the coast and you get these different types of communities when they all really could be one large community. But realistically, no one, at least from the tech side, like when we go to a lot of tech events and stuff like that, the tech community is very spread out. It's very disparate, and there's not a lot of connectors.
Yeah, and the tech community down here is quite interesting because you have one bucket where people are thinking about doing something in tech, you know,
The
or maybe
builders.
they just started building something maybe. And then you have the people who are winning like Series A, B type of, you know, so it's like a huge gap. And like for me, it was like trying to figure out like what's a good like local niche for me to try to figure out where like my business sits down here, because I'm like I don't really service like the people just thinking about a startup, you know. So I'm like, okay, I can't really invest too much time at like these type of events. And then I'm like I'm not an investor, but like people getting like a Series A or something, they're not necessarily they're not necessarily ready for the services that I offer.
Either. So
Yeah.
it's
You know? So then it's like, okay, but then now I got introduced to like the private equity.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let me explore, you know? So it's like a really interesting landscape down here, but it's changing because I know a lot more companies are coming down here, more people are moving down here. But yeah, like that sense of community, it's really tricky trying to figure out what that looks like down here.
Yeah. I think a lot of other areas have support from their institutions as well.
If traffic has something to do with that.
you mean transportation overall? They're very relevant. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Because everything is so segmented, like
2 miles down the road and it's a 40-minute drive.
Oh my God.
exactly, like because so the music school's in Hollywood, but people from Aventura don't really go to Hollywood like that because there's so much traffic. Or like North Miami, like they don't go up to like
No moving.
because of the traffic. You know? So then when you do try to do some type of collaboration, or maybe
It's hard, yeah.
hard, you know, and like you already know that people from
Geography, yeah.
they're not going to come to your location because it's hard to get there.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But I think, I mean, apart from the fact that there is a lot of infrastructure that could be built to facilitate it, I don't even think they want the collaboration. I think it's, especially because a lot of here in Miami, it's owned by real estate. And the real estate companies, funny enough, play a big role in the tech community here. The real estate companies and the families in Miami, they run 3 major tech events, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have the Medinas.
Which one emerge?
Yeah, then you have the Manas, the Mana
yeah.
Tech company. They're also
What events do they run?
Mana
there's
events.
a couple. Yeah,
they have their name on a few events, yeah.
and then you have the Lab Miami people
Yeah.
in Wynwood.
Yes.
All of these, at least South Florida, being driven by a lot of real estate. Because if you go west to San Francisco, for example,
It's more mixed. There is still real estate involved, but it's a lot more of the actual
It's a lot more
universities.
innovation,
Yeah.
and also SF is, I think, the innovation capital here in the U.S. No,
We're the commercialization capital.
One of them, yeah.
Not the same thing.
But even New York, for example, has corporate backers, for example.
Yeah.
And here in Miami, you don't have the schools. The corporations are a lot of the big real estate or finance companies, so they don't want to share. No. So then now you have this kind of sprawl, and the people who are taking the brunt of it are the community members themselves. Yeah. And so after a lot of this analysis between us, we really wanted to bring something to South Florida that was bigger than just us, because it's not about us, it's about the community. A lot of South Florida businesses have been dying since COVID. A lot of them. I don't know if you've gone to what's that area, like Dania Beach. Yeah. That used to be filled with small businesses, and then COVID came and wiped all of them out.
Oh, now you have the more name brand mainstream people moving in.
Yeah, because they're the only ones that can afford to put stuff there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's why I appreciate Lauderdale by the Sea, because it still has the small beach.
Yeah.
However, there was a sushi sake that came in there, you know? So, like, I look at those signals, I'm like, okay, there's a sushi sake.
Keep your eye out, yeah.
There might be some more movement.
But surely they're all dying off, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they don't know how to build the infrastructure they need to survive.
Yeah.
All of these larger companies have data infrastructure.
They do.
It all started with data infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now it's AI infrastructure, which is kind of data infrastructure. But we'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
But in order for these small businesses to survive, they need that. And they don't have the money to bring in the experts. They don't have the time to learn it themselves.
Yeah. And then even the sentiment, honestly, you know, because
a lot of small businesses are tired. They're living paycheck to paycheck, just like corporate people.
Yeah.
The only difference is that they have their business, and
which is just a bigger headache.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a headache that, in my opinion, is so easy to solve.
It's not needed.
It's not.
It's not a needed headache.
We've solved it, so.
Hence why we're here.
Yeah. And like, how do you I want to ask, this is related to, like, you know, Claude Cowork and OpenClaw, right? So how do you, I don't want to say it's like competition for what you're offering, but how does it like
differentiator? Yeah, absolutely. I can answer one part and then you the other.
Yeah.
So Claude and even OpenAI. So there's like San Francisco or SFT. The T is that all of these companies originated from one little group set of people. You know, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Sam Altman. PayPal Mafia.
Yeah.
We know about them. So a very long time they set out to build AGI. AGI is what they're trying to. It's, you know, super intelligence. It's automated general intelligence. I forgot the name. Artificial general intelligence. This is not at all what Claude is today. This is not at all what GPT is today. Not by their standards. And say it's not a godlike creation that can replace and do any and all cognitive, physical, emotional tasks done by a human. So their goal has nothing to do with small businesses. It has nothing to do with building features for small businesses. It has nothing to do with differentiating products. It has nothing to do with any of this. It has to do with building this artificial general intelligence that can run on a CPU and identify proteins and build interesting genomic sequences and predict the future and run a simulation of the past and the present and everything. They're not, like, whilst their approach most recently has been towards efficiency of the personal individual inside of a business, that is not the ultimate goal. And because of that, like, stark difference in direction, I don't think that there really is a necessary competition for the long term. Yes, in the moment they can do small tasks like send an email, like do these tasks.
They're using that to basically aggregate data. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, because basically they're saying this type of task that people are automating, and they're looking at how they're automating it. Like,
well, they're watching you. They're seeing what you care about doing. They're not trying to reorganize it, consolidate it, do anything for your benefit. It's just, what do you need as a customer so we can keep you? So we're taking a different approach. We're using, just like Sam Altman, to reference the man, he said that he believes that AI is going to be like the transistor. So it's going to be the basis of any future technology. We're kind of taking that approach and using AI alongside all the other relevant technologies. AI is not the single technology we use. It is one of many, so that together they form a better stack, a cleaner stack, a better stack.
I would even take it further to say that they have a completely different business model than us. Like their target audience is enterprise, one. Their primary focus, like she's saying, is AGI. So with that being your primary product focused, you're not really going to spend a whole lot of time curating solutions for other people. And a lot of people, when you're targeting enterprise, they don't think it's worth it to target small business. A lot of people think that it has the same amount of effort and a lot less reward. And at least for me, I completely disagree. I think there's a lot of long-term benefits that kind of get overlooked. The average churn rate for a small business is like 25 years. For an enterprise, that's not even close. And that can do a lot for your business. If you have a customer for 25 years, that money's coming in every time. And so I think these larger businesses, when they focus on enterprise, they don't have the resources to even tackle small business because they need to be boots on the ground. And they don't want to do that. They're trying to be as hands-off as possible and say, hey, I want to make a ton of money with doing nothing. And small business doesn't work like that. It's a lot of hard work, like they're saying. But at the same time, the focus is on the people. And for them, it's not on the people. And there's no way, at least in my opinion.
Their focus is on the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. They're building systems. Yeah. That we all play in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One day we'll build our own chessboard.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with conversations like this, It starts with building awareness of what you're doing and why it's important and getting your message out and repeating the message, like just constantly raising awareness, repeat, right? Because they always say like...
It really is an awareness problem.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
I think for small businesses as well, some of the people that we did testing on, and I say testing because like they're not a scientific project, but
your pilot program.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so we talked to a lot of our customers, and one of the biggest things is like, I just didn't even know this tool was there. I didn't know any of these tools exist. Yeah. And then I go and talk to the enterprise and I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing to market to small businesses? And they're like, we don't. We have ads. Yeah. And I'm like, interesting. Okay. So it's an awareness problem. They don't know the tools and the resources out there. So in order to tackle an awareness problem, you have to be boots on the ground. You have to have a grassroots campaign that goes and shakes hands, talks to people in front of them and says, hey, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to be successful. And that makes them feel confident and firm in their decision to move forward with you.
And they feel seen.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, they feel seen. Yeah.
And honestly, it's the only way that they'll trust you too, because like you said, Miami is big on corruption and, things like that. So like, if you really want to, bring in that trust, you have to show up. You have to show them that you really are there to help, because everyone has their doors closed. There's a reason for it.
Yep.
That's very true.
Yep. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I wanted you guys on the podcast too. We met at the Daily Drip Spark event, and thank you so much for, all of your support and all these things. And, that's why I was like, okay, it's definitely important that you guys come on the podcast. And because now you'll have this episode forever and we'll have clips and all these things, and you just send it out to people. And this is another way where people know what you're doing, like, and trust.
And this is fun. This is awesome.
I'm happy you're having a great time. It's a very interesting conversation. You guys are really young and very, very insightful as far as like your statistical analysis and market research. Like, you guys are really, really, really impressive. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously, because like, my background is more like on the analytical side, data, all these things. And so like, I don't really talk to a lot of people about like data trends, statistical analysis, those, because people don't
Yeah, they don't care about that.
No. But again, that's also an important thing for a small business to know about and care about. And, so like, I think it's great that you guys are providing this community a place for people to learn, have those unlocks for, small business owners. Because that is basically a make or break, for a small business.
It's scary out there, especially with the way the economy is leaning right now. I mean, I'm hoping that our platform can be a lifeline to a lot of people, because when I started consulting in high school for my mom, I mean, she was struggling. She was really, really struggling to get her business out there.
And it's not even because she sucked at her job. That's the funny part.
They're amazing.
It has nothing to do with the service provision quality or anything.
It is simply packaging, pricing, going out and
the
marketing.
part that has nothing to do with your.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you guys have it all together.
Absolutely.
It's a needed thing to even get your business off the ground and really grow.
And I think a lot of people, when they want to start a business or have a business, they don't know where to start.
Oh, that part is wild.
That is the hardest question that every single one of our design partners has told us, is like, where do I start?
Oh my God.
And we actually have a very interesting way to do that within the platform, where we've actually created an algorithm to show you where to start. So our algorithm will populate your agenda every single day with the tasks that you need to do relevant to your entire business. Wow. It'll prioritize for you. Mm-hmm. It'll help you choose and select what's important to you and your business. Yeah. And that, in my opinion, is the biggest problem that people have right now. Yeah. Where do I go?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's amazing, because occasionally I have calls with people if they're thinking about starting a business, all these things, and they're like, what should I focus on? What should I? And I'm like, listen, I made a lot of mistakes, okay? Like, if you don't have, first, just talk to people.
That's the thing that everybody says in the beginning, is go talk to people. I did that. I talked to people. I was still confused.
Really?
I was like, okay, I really understand your problem. What's next?
Oh, fascinating.
I like, at least when I first started trying to build a business, I just didn't know what to do. So I would ask crazy questions. I would ask people who want to be a partner on a call, why'd you take this call with me? Like, why, what drew you to me? Was there something that I said? Did you have an idea for this partnership before you got into this meeting? Most people don't ask those types of questions. It's very direct.
Yeah,
especially to someone you're trying to sell to.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care when I started, so I was just trying to find answers. I really, really was.
So what was that pivotal moment where you finally figured out what to focus on?
I feel like I'm still searching.
Oh, really?
I feel like when it comes to
actively every
there's
day.
always another next. That's the thing. So I was like, okay, I figured out my packaging. What's next? Okay, I figured out my customer. What's next? I figured out my business model, how to make money. I figured out the whole cycle. What's next?
IndraOS is next.
Yes. There's always a next.
There is always a next.
And so you never figure out until you get there.
Yeah.
So that's why we made.
And then when you get there, that's when you uncover the next.
Exactly. But that's why we made this algorithm to basically kind of help you direct yourself in actionable steps, because that was the part for me was missing. As a kid, it was super hard for me to focus. I never got diagnosed with anything, but I absolutely, school was not my thing. I could not do school. And so it was really, really, really hard for me to focus. And when I went and started my business, it was also hard for me to focus. I would do marketing in 1 hour, sales in another hour, accounting, bookkeeping in another, and just throughout the whole day, one after the other. And then the next day, I'm like, what did I do? Okay, I think I have to do this task now. Trying to figure out the order to do them in was so complicated. And in the beginning, you have to train your brain to have this working memory, in a sense.
Cache.
Yeah. You have to train your brain to say, okay, every day I know there is a set of tasks I have to do across my holistic business. How do I want to organize that? Most people don't get to that point.
Oh my God.
Where they're trying to organize their day. Do you organize by day? Do you organize by week? I
don't know if you've noticed, but we, in modern society, since the rise of data being the primary way in which we communicate, we now are primarily computers. Like we do, like he's talking about cash. He's talking about algorithms being used to prioritize tasks and ultimately to select which one, this is computer work. Why are we doing this? Our mind is not meant for this.
Oh, that's interesting.
Exactly.
You guys are like making me smile because I'm like, oh wait, I've done project management, for the past X amount of years. So like, it's just second nature for me to be like,
yes, but that's a learned skill. And a lot of people, and project management is beautiful for that because they have all the frameworks to do that.
Yeah.
And remember, we talked about awareness being a problem. They don't know that PMP exists. They don't know
Let alone how
project
to
management
use it.
exists.
That thing is complicated unless you take the right course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you go and you tell a small business, well, did you
Just do PMP.
Just do
Scrum.
project management.
Just do Agile.
They don't understand this. It's all corporate talk.
Yes.
I mean, if you're looking at small businesses, do you think that they came from corporate world?
no, they don't. Yeah, they don't go from corporate. Yeah.
So there's so much language there that's missing, right? And you just
That's another thing we tried to do in our platform was remove corporate language. So like we call our marketing campaigns marketing activities because the word campaign confused people.
They're like, what's a campaign?
Versus a deal versus an action.
Something
versus...
as small as that. And like deals are no longer deals. We have sales activities, marketing activities, delivery activities. That's a lot easier to comprehend than going out
Less
and
verbiage.
saying, I have a support ticket, I have a marketing campaign, I have a deal I need to manage.
Yeah.
Your
I have
brain
another
starts
lead
going,
and a
what?
prospect.
Yeah.
You don't realize that they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all part of the same pipeline.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of the collapsing, that our platform was able to do for small businesses is simplify the language.
Yeah,
And
the language
yes.
is a thing.
It is a thing.
Because I would, again, I came from corporate land, right? So like I go to a networking event here. I lived in South Florida for like 10, 15 years, right? But I never networked when I was in corporate. I didn't need to. And then I finally started networking in my business and I'm like, I do, digital transformation. People are like,
They're just like,
I'm like, I gotta work on this. Like, they don't understand. Like, yeah.
like you just have to meet them where they're at, in my opinion. Like everybody is going to have a different type of language that they come from, and if you are trying to communicate something to someone, it's up to you to figure out how
There's
to.
a little bit of
Exactly.
education that goes into it, and the collapse
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah. So like of the businesses that you've helped so far with your platform, what type of growth have they seen?
So we actually haven't had anybody use the platform full time yet. So we're launching that in June, on June 6th. So far, we've only had design partners in the platform, and we use them for specific workflows. But starting this coming week, we're actually going to get full-time users in the platform to test. So we'll come back to this in a month or two, and I'll tell you exactly what kind of
We
metrics.
already have great numbers, imagine.
Like
Like, we're
internally,
already seeing-
we've used it, and we're testing it internally and running numbers. It's like 10x, 20x,
It's
50x.
insane. Yes.
What was normally a 20 to 30 person contact day for a salesperson turns into a 50 to 100 person contact day.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So that is the type of X in terms of efficiency people are getting.
Yeah. It's like my husband. So I call him my R&D department. Because he's like always like, researching different AI videos, all these things. And so he recently installed Claude Cowork on his computer and like customized it for himself. And he's about to give it to me, like, so I can have it,
Yes.
So it's like now with all the advancements in AI, I'm like, how big can I grow my company just to be like a one person like consulting? Of course, I like consultants,
absolutely.
but they're like the way I have my business model, I have more. Well, it's a couple of things. You have all the tech layoffs, so you have a lot of people who are becoming independent consultants. So my consultants are the people who came from those companies, and they are like, I just want to do contract stuff now, right? So they're 1099s, right? So then now I'm like, okay, for all my sales activities, like I close things all the time, but my part is like all the research, because like I'm still doing active delivery, but I'm like, okay, how can I, speed this up, have like a whole sales organization? And it's just me, like I got, so, he set me up. So we're like going to go on this journey of like really having like those efficiencies for my sales process with the agents. I'm like super excited for it because like, this is yeah.
I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here about Claude Code, but for Claude Bot specifically, just be careful when you utilize a lot of the public libraries that are out there.
No, she's using Claude Code, which is a download
The
version of
application.
Claude.
Okay,
Anthropic,
gotcha.
Anthropic made one.
Okay, I
This
thought
is
it was
different from
Claude
Bot. No.
Claude Code and Code.
Yes, Claude Code, wonderful.
Stay away from it for the time being.
Yeah.
Has a lot of backdoors.
Claude Bot.
Code.
No.
Sorry, Claude
Yes.
Bot. Claude Bot.
They're the
Has a
same
lot of
name, so it's
backdoors.
really confusing.
Yeah, sorry.
Claude Bot and Claude Code are two separate products. Claude Code is a open source agent.
No, Claude Bot
Sorry.
is the open source agent.
Claude Bot.
Yes.
Repeat.
So sorry. Claude Bot is the
Yes.
open source application that you can actually go and it'll
Download off of GitHub, I
Yes,
think.
you can download
Yeah.
off of GitHub, and then there's a ton of libraries you can download for tools, because how agents work is they have a giant library of tools that they can use to help you perform work. Claude Bot has a massive public library, so what a lot of hackers have been doing is putting libraries on there,
Yeah.
and people just go and download everything.
Download it,
Exactly.
yeah.
And now they're in your
Yeah.
system because Claude Bot is local on your machine.
Yes.
And then you have access to your internet, your network, your emails, your accounts, and there's a lot of backdoors, not only for information, but also to actively hack
Ping.
and ping.
Yeah. Like your computer can now be part of a network of crimes.
Yes.
Without you even saying,
Yep. So just be careful when venturing into those spaces. Claude Code, completely different story. They're an in-house application. They're great. I hope you have a lot of fun with Claude Code.
No, but you raise a really important point because a lot of people aren't talking about the cybersecurity of all these things.
Separated. Like it's hype. It's hype, and then it's real fear.
Yes.
It's hype, fake fear, and then real fear.
But the cybersecurity is like real, like
They're concerned.
I would say it's an arms race, and this is not like new thought here. This is something that
Every technology brings an arm race. We're just at the most latest
Yes,
one.
and this one is an AI arms race. So what a lot of people are doing is they're hooking up LLMs to everything, and when you do that, that opens up a lot of new
Good and bad.
vulnerabilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of
And it's the vulnerabilities that no one could see coming before.
No, they're day zeros.
Yeah.
And I think a big, outside of the vulnerability side, you also have like the offensive hackers now. So like you can have what's known as script kiddies, people who really don't know how to code, but
The fake Claude hackers, like people just telling Claude, go on the internet and find me X. I don't care how you do it. Do whatever you want to do, but just get me this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Claude is like, okay, I'll help you.
Yeah.
in my opinion, the more dangerous because
They'll go everywhere.
Yes, they
They'll
don't
do
know what
anything.
they're doing to an extent, so they'll accidentally hit things that known hackers know to stay away from. And
It's
so,
like system collapse
Yeah.
type of stuff. Like you only do that really if you
Like
want
for
to
example,
destroy
if
the
you're a
thing.
hacker, you're not going to go and shut down your home network. You need it
No.
up to hack it.
You need it, yeah.
So
Yeah.
someone who is inexperienced in hacking might come here and be like, DDoS attack your entire network, shut it all down. And it had no other effect
It
to
didn't
you other
actually
than just
steal your-
being
yeah.
malicious
And annoying.
Yeah. Where other hackers, they like do things like silently, privately, quietly, like, oh, let me do a transaction here. Let me.
Perform actions. They'll sit and monitor your
And take
data
data.
and logs, and they'll just sit there and watch you perform actions in your network.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what a lot of hackers will do nowadays. But I think the script kiddies are more dangerous because now apply that scenario to something that's connected to supply chain.
Or a hospital.
Exactly.
Anything.
Like imagine you have a script kiddie down the street. He's like, I'm gonna go try to hack this stop sign or this red light really quick. And they go and they try to hack it because a lot of these things, they're not protected. They're IoT
they're not.
devices. They have
Yeah.
no security.
No, they don't. And the
to an
people
extent.
like supposed to be running them don't care.
So now imagine you do that for a massive intersection in front of a hospital. There's an accident. Now it blocks that. Now you have an issue getting into the hospital, and all that because a kid wanted to play around with Claude Code hacking.
All of that because infrastructure was not set up properly before the
That
baby
too.
came in with the
Yes.
Claude
Yes.
with the
That
Claude
too.
bot.
Right.
The Claude bot.
Sorry.
That too. too.
Yeah, our infrastructure is a terrifying part of our system. The fact that it can, for example, the electricity grid can be just like wiped out.
It's too exposed. It's way too exposed, especially for the threats nowadays. So, I something that was actually quite interesting. A mentor of mine from Caresse, he's their CISO. His name's Jason Minar. Amazing person. He actually just posted a very interesting thought on LinkedIn about how the recent FBI director got hacked, his Gmail. And so now they have like 10, 15 years worth of data. And the biggest threat is not even that.
There's no like special data or like restricted
there's no
data
confidential
in there.
data, but the actual issue here is that they can now feed 10 years worth of data to an LLM and now impersonate him. They can now actually go and build a thinking or decision model of the FBI director.
Oh yeah, the decision model is the new part. So I say deepfake because we've been able to essentially, create visual representations or auditory, like short-term, ephemeral, let's call them representations.
Yeah.
LLMs and the vast memory that they have and the training data makes it so they're no longer ephemeral. Like they can think long term. They can act on your behalf. They can be you to a degree, So or
now
by
imagine
someone
if
else.
an adversary has access to that level of decision making on a massive individual
scale
like
of
the
we
FBI
know
director.
your food preferences, what you have maybe allergies to, where your psychology really maybe fails, how you make decisions about trust, how you build or break down teams, how you made any decision in your position. That's wild.
And if you have a hater,
Forget it.
My God.
like that. You know, they can wipe you out with an allergy. They know you're gonna be at this event. No, seriously.
No, but you're right.
Absolutely.
You know, they know that you're gonna be at this event. They know someone that does the catering. You know what I mean? Like they could really target you.
Absolutely. So now at the scale of an FBI director,
That's what I'm saying. Like that could be so proliferated because who knows what this guy has done with these criminal organizations.
Not to mention
and
the
people
fact-
want revenge.
What gets wilder a little bit is that we're thinking that these one-off cases where you do get aggregated data on an individual are going to be concerning. Have you realized what social media is? Have you realized what the internet is? Have you realized what like news stations, the people talking on those news stations, they've already given their voice, mind, actions already 20 years ago. It's just in the data centers.
Yeah.
data is going to be one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that ends up becoming the biggest risk with AI.
It already is.
Well, in the sense of people used to protect their data, of course.
You think they did?
To the best of their
Not-
knowledge and awareness.
Not here in the state of Florida, but in other places, sure.
I mean, your data. You close your door. You close your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
There's no security on it.
You have
though.
You have your computer with you. You don't leave it out in random places.
No.
It's to the best of your awareness.
But again, awareness is the
Yeah.
issue there. You don't know
Yeah.
that
As
you should have a
always.
layered network, probably.
Yeah.
You don't know that certain devices like your laptop should not be connected to the same devices as your Xbox, for
Or your
example.
TV.
I did not know. Babe, are you taking notes? Babe, you taking notes? You taking notes? All right, we're going to have to do a little bit upgrade of our infrastructure here. Thanks, guys.
It's a big thing in awareness, and with the age of AI now coming full force at everyone, if you are not aware of the dangers, you're going to get completely like flooded.
I feel bad for the older
Yeah.
generation because they were already getting scammed with just phone calls.
Yeah.
I know. Or text messages.
We actually
Yeah.
just saw. Sorry, I was just really excited when you said that because we recently saw a startup
Yes.
in Miami at the Lab Miami. There was an event going on there, and one of the ladies there built an application on your phone that can now predict and remove spam calls for elderly people.
That's really good.
She-
What's do
she-
you know the name of it?
I can.
We got to put them
yes.
out on the
Yeah,
map.
no, literally.
But
Yeah.
She's also been at TechCrunch. The company's doing good.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
she
awesome.
won the pitch competition that day, I think.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she's
doing
protecting
amazing.
everyone's granny.
Well, I
You know
think,
what I mean?
think the
Like-
story was, because we spoke with her a little bit, I think the story was, and I'm really sorry if this is wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was either her mom or her grandmother had that incident happen to her, where there was like a scam call or something and it went terrible. And so that was very personal to her, and she was like, I'm not letting this happen again.
Good. Yeah.
I think it was her mom, and she built a business with her sister.
Wow. Yeah, we got to know what the name of that
We'll
app
have her
is.
come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like no, that's like
I think the company was called Zora.
Oh yeah.
Zora
Zora?
Safe, yes.
Zora Safe.
Catherine Caro. Zora Safe. Here. I don't know if you can show that in the camera or
right.
something.
Shout out to Catherine Caro, saving everyone's grannies from Zora Safe, saving everyone's grannies from spam calls that hack people.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's
Fraud
awesome.
and all of the above.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was an awesome company. And those are the types of companies I think we need more of. I think a lot of people right now are building just to build. And that's
They're building for profit. They're building to sell. And then ultimately you don't generate any value. Like you're just extracting, moving from here to there to try and see if you can get like a little corner cut.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you actually add anything? No. Ultimately you took that corner
Yeah.
cut from the inside.
Yeah. But you know what I think a lot of that's due to? Because you have a lot of these internet personalities that are like, yeah, you know, I made $10 million in 30 days by making this app, you know.
the LinkedIn entrepreneur. $10,000 a month if you do this one thing.
Yeah, because like that was one of the things that I was struggling with when I first, you know, launched my consulting firm was what's like, how do you like, what are the key things you need to focus on for your business, you know, and it's adding value to people's lives, but you don't have that message on the internet. Like people are like, you got to scale and, you know, do a funnel and do all these
they
things.
think of it in
and-
terms of metrics. And when I was researching a lot of this, so a big part about me, I love researching. I will research anything and everything for hours and hours and hours, as long as I can figure out how to apply it. Once I figure out how to apply it, I don't care about the research anymore. I now go and do my own research.
That's good. Yeah.
And as I was learning, a lot of, like, my biggest source was YouTube. I mean, that it's the biggest data set out there of individuals, that and Reddit, who are talking about their physical experience. And I wasn't a big proponent of like textbook learning. I think it's too polished. You don't get the real
it is polished,
data sets, you know. So as an individual who learned that way, I think in the beginning you really don't know what to look for, so you'll take anything.
Yeah.
And at the time, a lot of the knowledge that was being given to me was just metric.
Yeah.
These people are a data point. You need to reach out to 100 and you'll get one.
Exactly.
And so as long as I hit 1,000 people, then I hit 10 people
10.
on my book meetings, I'm good. And then you just run. And
Yeah.
now it's all about metrics and not actually about value that you're providing to the users. And
Exactly.
I fell into that trap. I was a big person, and it works, so it also feeds into it.
It's a self-feeding 'cause
Exactly.
it does work.
It does.
Yeah.
Realistically, the whole world is numbers. If you calculate like physics and everything else that goes around in this entire world, you could pretty much calculate almost anything.
Yeah.
So of course the numbers are going to be right. If they say, hey, you know, you get maybe 1% conversion rate, of course that's probably accurate. But making that the focal point was the issue for me. And so over the years running my business, I had to learn to transition from more of a metric focused company to someone that was more value focused. And a lot of that collection in terms of data. She's so cute.
She looks exactly like Merlin,
Yeah.
just skinnier and bigger eyes. Oh my god. Oh, she also even purrs like him. Wow.
I mean, if you shave Merlin, he was probably
Looking like that. Yeah, probably.
We will stare at her all day.
But yeah, so a lot of the metrics that people are collecting, they don't provide any added value. So when you start to build a company and you don't want to use metrics, it's hard because you're like, how do I measure myself? And so what I found, what was helpful for me, is to literally talk to people and get, like I built a system of collecting case studies. So it would be like a card, and I do this because in my head I have like the way that it's shaped. It has like their name, kind of a brief description of what the engagement was like, and then it.
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't do that. Well, I like literally. I'm just like, all right, they're good. All right, let's go outside.
You need to collect it. It's a survey that you're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the metrics that people are collecting now are intrinsic, and they're not super valuable to the actual outcome that you want. They're valuable to the business and the revenue generation, but they're not valuable to the outcome for your customer. And so I had to switch that a little bit, and now I have like these use case business cards basically where I fill them out as I'm going through a case study or an interview with someone.
Yeah, now you make me want to do that. So, okay,
I can
I'm
send
gonna
over
do
the
that for
template.
myself. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that for myself.
I learned that because when I was in college, I actually went to college for psychology, believe it or not. And so I participated.
That's really important in business, though.
It is. When I went into college, I didn't want to do anything with tech. I was like, I love tech. I don't want school to ruin tech. I'm gonna do the complete opposite of tech and go for people because I sucked at people. Like before.
That's good. That's really smart. Yeah.
So like before college, I was kind of antisocial. I didn't really talk to a whole lot of people. And then when I got to college, I was like, I have no clue how to deal with people. Let me throw myself into every group that I can, like just get as involved as possible. And that worked out fairly well for me. But in college, I did a lot of studies because I was in psychology, and part of that was like all the data collection, the note taking. It made me very meticulous.
All the studies.
Yeah. So that to
That
me
makes
was a
sense.
great habit. I loved building that habit there. And then that kind of carried with me into a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think my only saving grace was I was obsessed with applying to jobs all the time, so I was always updating my resume. So like, I have like that historical reference point. And then with networking, it forces me to talk about the outcomes that I've had for people, So, but I think to formalize it makes it even stronger of like the value add proposition.
You need a system. You always need a system. I think a lot of people in business forget that there should be a system for things that are implicit to you.
Yeah.
When you're talking and interviewing someone, you don't think that a system is needed because you're just having a conversation with them. But realistically, every workflow in your business needs a system alongside what you are actually providing in the value. That way it actually comes to fruition the way in your mind you see it. And that, I think, is a good thing.
And that's what's forcing AI. That's what AI is forcing people to do, actually, like to systematize things. Because, like, I finally landed on like ways of working to get people ready to use AI, like in the more enterprise space. And essentially, because like most of my career has been in software and implementing software in some shape or form, and people never want to change their processes for like a software, and then they think the software is crap. But it's really your crazy ass processes that you didn't want to change. You didn't want to change. Yeah.
That's why we don't want to touch enterprise.
Thank you.
They will come to us. I'm calling it now. They will come to us and say, please let us use your tools. We don't want it because this entire system is built to give you the workflows. It's built to tell you, I understand you don't know how to build your stuff. We'll build it for you. But just trust that our system is built like this for a reason. And you can get that trust with small businesses. Enterprise, forget about it. Forget about it.
I mean, I feel like there's like weird movements in the enterprise space because a lot of companies, if they're specific, like if let's say they got, acquired by private equity, right? They're in this weird environment where a lot of people get cut, leadership changes, and then processes are like messed up. So you have these departments that are like kind of operating like a small business. And so now they're more open to changing things because they're in pain. They're in pain and people are like frazzled out and
They're like, fine, I'll do it.
yes.
They'll do anything to save their job.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's what it is. If private equity is coming in, they're clearing house for leadership, then their leadership is going to be like, what can I do to change what's going on now? I'm going to upheave everything that I know and throw it out the door.
Exactly. So it's interesting landscape. And then also you'll find that those companies that maybe they cut people, they'll rehire that person as a consultant.
So funny. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I personally think that there won't be any like individual employees in the next 5-10 years. I think every single person in the world will be a 1099.
That's what I'm saying.
I think people are going to realize that they get more pull owning a business and having a company set standards, because companies don't really give rights in a sense to employees.
No.
They're just, hey, this is what you get and you're good. But if you're a 1099, you get to demand stuff. You now have an equal playing field because they want your talent, and they have to go through a legal entity. And that's the defender between the person and the company.
It's so true. But then even with making the switch from like, an employee to a business owner,
That's a big shift.
there is this whole psychological thing that's attached to that, because delivering the work that I've always delivered. I can do this in my sleep. But the fact that I just presented myself different, I'm still adding like the same amount of value I've added as an employee. But because I'm presenting myself, the perspective is different. And like also as a business owner, I'm forced to really like know and communicate, when I do this, this is the impact of revenue that it's going to have on your organization. Versus when you're an employee and you're talking to your manager.
It's passive.
It's very passive, but then your manager isn't thinking how your SVP is thinking. So I'm working with the SVPs, and they get it. So it's like, I'm still doing the same, but I'm talking to the right person now. And I have more authority to propagate what I know needs to be done. Can you?
That sounds like you realize that you have agency. Yeah. One key topic that we've been making a joke about is that there are actually, what was the word? NPCs aren't real.
There's like a joke online about how some people are non-playing characters, NPCs, where they just kind of go through the world as like just a normal person. They don't have, I don't want to say they don't have thoughts because that's terrible, but like they just float through life, I guess is the best way
sheep.
to put it.
It's like, it's a new word for sheep. It's a new word for sheep mentality. And it's funny because sheep mentality, only comes out in sheep spaces. Like when you have no space to have agency, what happens? People demonstrate no agency.
Yeah.
But when you actually start realizing that you do have agency, that you can sell your work better, that you can be an independent, self-sustaining individual in society, things start looking kind of different. Communities start being able to share resources a little bit better. Communication improves. Overall happiness does too. So when there are less people in the community that feel like they have no agency, things somehow get better.
I'm going to assume for you that there was probably a catalyst that made you want that agency, or
I would say there's several inputs to it. It was like a gradual thing. So my upbringing, was strange. In my speech I was talking about, self-help books or whatever, but one in particular, I read it when I was like 13. Called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And like I wanted to be that sophisticated investor so bad when I was 13, because like seriously, like the cops were always at my house, 3 months behind on the mortgage, stepfather's an alcoholic, and my house was like falling apart. So it's like, and then whenever I would see my dad, it was a completely different life where it's like, it was calm there, we could go to IHOP, like seriously,
life becomes
life
so
slowed down a little bit.
Yeah. Like I could get a new shirt, like I can get new shoes, but that would happen like a couple times a year, maybe if I was lucky. So like I was obsessed with, want to be a sophisticated investor. How do you do that? You own your own business. So at the time, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. I just knew at the end of the day, like, I'm going to have my own business and I'm going to be a sophisticated investor. But
you had, in this case, it wasn't so much a catalyst like an event, but you had a book that gave you that awareness again. Something that was like, hey, there's something that exists outside of that, outside of what you're used to. And I think not a lot of people have that. I don't think I think it's a growing number of people over the years. People have really wanted that agency and said, screw corporate America, I'm going to go do my own thing. Especially, I think it was like maybe 5-ish years ago, you had the whole like entrepreneur boom on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, and everyone's like, you gotta go work 5 businesses and have like a ton of money.
Grind,
Yeah.
day and night.
Yep. And like it was a trend to work 150 hours a week on your business, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's where awareness started to spread, but it was again more focused on the metrics, rather than like the value of it.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
a big part of our messaging is, what is the value of agency that you're getting?
Exactly.
What does that really give you?
Yeah.
Because most people don't know. They don't
No.
know what it means to make a decision on your own.
They don't know how to make
And
decisions.
sometimes they're scared.
Yeah.
Decision making
Also
is a
scared.
yes, yeah, because you don't have a decision making framework
Or
Exactly.
or tools.
Yep.
One of the craziest things that we've been that I actually realized after I left out of school was that no one had a meta model for thinking. No one had like a plan. Like I would go up to people and ask them, it's like, okay, well, why do you wake up at 7 a.m? Why don't you wake up at 4? Why don't you wake up at 10? Like stupid things like that. Similar to his questions on the calls, it's like, why did you come and meet with me? I would ask people this way, these questions, even like when I got to my internships at Apple, at Microsoft, at the startups that I work with, I would ask these engineers, why are you here? They have no answers, no good answers. I asked Apple, why are you building the Vision Pros? Because I worked on the Vision Pro while I was in the internship. Because we're Apple. That's it. Like, okay, well, I'm Rose. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of these people follow such status quo because they are, I think, like maybe us and you grew up in riskier situations. Like it was risky to stay.
Yeah.
To a lot of other people who are born into that middle space, it's and more so with the ever shrinking middle class, it's risky.
Yeah.
It's risky to try new. I mean, it's not. It's actually risk to stay. But for a very long time, it was risky to try new things, and that mindset hasn't really reached people our age at this point, like who are becoming the adults, who are now the people who run the world, or who are gaining enough momentum and strength and like capital to run it. They still don't know. They still don't think like that. They still don't know why they do anything that they do.
Yeah.
And the first step is always awareness. Awareness is rarely there.
Yeah. That's an interesting point.
No, I think awareness to me played almost no part in the beginning of my life. Like I was kind of aware of the
You were
problems.
super aware that things were broken.
Yes,
And wrong.
but I didn't know why it was broken. I didn't know who was to blame for it. I didn't know any of these things.
I mean, it's still kind of.
It's still complicated to
Yeah.
to put a finger on it, but
It
you
is.
know. But you know.
At this point, I stopped caring about who's to blame, and I started caring more about what am I doing to fix it.
Yes.
Because I can blame everybody all I want, but at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like I want to fix it, so go out and fix it. That, you know, at least for me, my grandma, she old German woman, amazing woman that raised me, and she was a big proponent of like no BS. Like if you want it, stop complaining, go do it. And so I kind of took that into business and was like, well, if no one's doing it, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just have this entourage effect of people standing around saying, oh, the next person will do it. Next person will do it.
Yep.
And
yep,
it's
yep.
like, no, you're up.
Yeah.
Are you
You do
doing
it.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. We've inherited this world. It's our responsibility now.
Absolutely.
Or our
Yeah.
shared responsibility now.
Yep. All right, guys. So if each of you had a piece of advice to leave for someone who wants to start a business or is currently trying to figure out how to grow their business, what would it be?
Oh my goodness.
That's a good question.
Read history. Read history. I'm going to stick to history. I think you got to go, Athena. Come on, what's your take?
I want to make sure it's worth it.
No, this is a very good question.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of avenues, in my opinion, that you can take when you want to start a business. You first need to understand why you're starting the business, the awareness that Rose was talking about. And lot of people don't get that question right. So when they go into something, they usually don't end up liking it.
Or they choose the easiest thing. Like, for example, if you start a business in a city, you're more likely to do service-based businesses just because the fact that you are in a highly dense human population that needs services. Is your pet walking on the streets going to be a huge value addition to society as a whole? No, but you will get money off of it if people have a lot of pets.
But
So this is...
that's also where I'm also a little confused, not confused, but pulled in two different directions when answering this question, because it does, starting a business does depend on the resources and access you have.
But also the
So-
requirements and needs of the society around you.
Yes. And so when we're talking about value add as a business, dog walking might not add a lot of value to the growth, like
The economy,
greater
the growth,
economy.
or the innovation.
But it does add value to the tiny community that that person is in, because let's say you walk all the dogs in your apartment, you're probably,
A sociable person.
yeah,
You create
not
some
only that, but
cohesion.
you also now just relieved probably about 20 to 50 people of
From stressing out up there. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the dog is also happy.
So that's where I get into a bit of a bind, just because for me, and not for everybody, but for me, I'm a big dreamer. I like to dream big. I'm a big believer that if you don't dream big enough, you won't reach the goals you want to hit. Because you almost never reach the perfection that you think of. You fall somewhere below it. So I'm a big proponent of always telling people to dream bigger and say, hey, you're on the right track, but like go bigger. Why are you thinking such a small scope? But then at the same time, it's like some people just like that scope. So I would say for anybody who wants to start a business, first figure out why it is you're starting that business. What value does it add? Because a lot of businesses nowadays don't add value. They just take value from something. They extract it.
They
And-
add themselves to the supply chain
Exactly.
just to
They
be
turn
able to
themselves
take.
into a middleman. And
Yeah.
fine, yes, that is a business, and that business model does work. But what is it really doing for people? Other than making something more complicated, add a headache in between, and you make money off of that headache.
Yeah.
I would really like to see people building things that matter a little bit more. And I think it's our responsibility, and mine specifically as someone who is younger, to go out and question everything. It's my job to say, why are you not building something that's worthwhile? And you see it online all the time with a lot of corporations, where they go out, take advantage of someone on TikTok or Instagram for the popularity, and then the TikTok environment or community goes, hey, that wasn't cool, go pay them. And then now the corporation goes and pays them. Why is there not that on a business scale?
Yeah.
Why is it on social media? Why aren't you going out and building literal community nonprofits? Why are you not going out and building private schools that you want to run for the education for your kids? Like, there's so much enterprising that can be done in this economy, and we don't do it. We don't take advantage of the tools and opportunity that we have being in a really shitty capitalistic environment. Like, realistically, our economy is not great, but we have a lot of tools to make it great if we want.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are taking advantage of that. So I would just say anybody that's starting a business, go out, figure out why you want to start the business, and make sure that it's impactful. That's what I would say.
To add to that, to ground it a little, I would say if you're going to go start a business, after finding out what you want to do and after going back and really knowing what's going on in the world, because that's going to help you a lot, what's happened and everything, I would say figure out what an advisor board is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know what? You don't have to know it all when you're starting.
Right.
But there are people that have already done it, been there, and can give you so much value
Yeah.
in those beginning moments.
Your advisors and mentors are your biggest supporters as a business in the beginning.
They're the early believers. They're the only ones that keep you sane when you start.
Not just
doubting.
that, but a lot of the times they're your first customer. They're your first person that pays you.
Yeah.
Like we have a customer of ours, amazing woman. She runs a healthcare business, small business, just her, and like a few outsourced people. And this woman is so giving, so amazing. She attended one of our fundraising events as a customer just to come support us and donated to the company. And it's like, those are the types of people that I love building for, and that I go out and build a business for, and that I want to help. And I don't think a lot of people have that connection to their customers that they should. Right. And that will make the difference between a $10,000 a month business or $100,000 a month business. Yeah. And that to me is kind of all it really takes, is learning your customer and having that connection with them.
Oh, that's amazing. Guys, this was incredible. Like, I'm so happy you came out.
Thank you so much.
All of you came on the podcast.
Yes.
You know, I love the interaction and dynamic.
No, this was perfect.
So
this was a lot.
Yeah. And so where can people find you?
Right now, LinkedIn. Yeah. LinkedIn. We have our event site up. So ies.indrasy.com. If you want to go sign up for our event. Our event is going to be on June 6th. It's a full day event.
With an after party,
yes, with
a
an
Miami after party. So you know it's going to be wild.
We're trying to get it on a yacht. So yeah, right now the website and our LinkedIn's is probably the best way to get in contact with us.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much for having us on here. This was our first group podcast, and to have it be someone local, mwah, chef kiss.
Exactly.
Oh, this is wonderful. Yay, I'm so happy. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for watching. If you were inspired by what you heard, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.